Hi my fellow nerds, or book nerds. Thank you for coming back to this channel. In this video, I'm gonna do a book review on Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, the first one. But before we get into it, please like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. So I decided to start like a book club on this channel and like on Instagram too. We're gonna be reading through books every 2 weeks, and this one is this book, which I love this book. I kind of was in a rut, so I decided just to get a book that I loved and was familiar with. This is a book review, so I already read this book, and for the next I'll do the next book in the next 2 weeks, and you guys could be reading this book if you want. The first thing, I'm not gonna give anything away if you haven't read the book, but I will tell you my thoughts and ideas of this book. So the first thing, because it is called About the Story, I'm going to start with the story. This book has a great story. Like, I know there's like an overarching story throughout the series, but each book has a specific story, and this one is not left out. It's the first one, it had to be good. It did well. It was nice and steady, and it introduced things slowly. It didn't throw a ton of information at you. The ending, though I will not say what it is, it was really good. It answered all your questions, whatever questions you had during the story. It answers all those questions, but it has an amazing cliffhanger, which, I mean, yeah, you just feel like you need to grab the next book just to find out what happens, because you're kind of shocked. So I love that. What I heard also is that when you write a book, the first sentence makes the book, pretty much. Usually, like, all the books have an amazing first sentence, and this one's no different. I liked it. It makes you like want to ask, like, what's going on? Like, what are you talking about? Look, it says, look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you think you might be one, my advice is close the book right now. It's like, it's like asking you to like come in and like, hey, let me tell you why you shouldn't be a half-blood. And even just those two words, half-blood, make you question, what's a half-blood? So, perfect first sentence. Not like my top first favorite sentences, but definitely one of the good ones. Okay, now characters. Love the characters of this book. They kind of remind me of the Harry Potter characters, but my favorite character is Percy Jackson. The main character, the protagonist, definitely does pull the story forward. Things are not just happening to him. He is getting things done, pretty much. He is working towards the thing that he wants the most, and that is very important in a protagonist. Also, another thing that a lot of people kind of mess up with when writing a book is that kind of it ends up just like everyone working towards the why of the protagonist, and that is not good. Each character has to think that they are their own protagonist in their own story. So he does that very well. Like, each character in this book has a why. Annabeth, she wants to become an architect. She wants to get on a quest. Rover wants his searcher's license, so he has to finish this quest with Percy. So it's amazing. These characters kind of just work together very well. There's always an enemy. There's always an antagonist. The antagonist in the story is not who you expect. Now, there's a bunch of them coming at them all of a sudden. Like, they start with the monsters, and those monsters are obviously antagonists, but not the main one. You don't really find out who the main one is until the end, which is really fascinating. And I really like, not gonna tell you who it is. My reaction. Obviously, I love this book. I finished this book. I think I read it when I was like 12, 13. That's the first time I read it. And I pretty much read it in like a day or two. It was not that, it didn't take me that long. I mean, it's not a long book either, and it's not a hard book to read. But it took me about a day or two to read, which is, I loved it. My favorite character is definitely Percy Jackson, which is such a difference because, like in the Harry Potter series, my favorite character is Hermione, not Harry. So I thought that's like an interesting difference in this. Harry Potter, for some reason I didn't like him that much, but I definitely love Percy Jackson in these books. What I like the most about this book. And honestly, it's just an introduction of this amazing world that he created, Rick Riordan, that it has monsters, it has gods, and it is very PG, which I really like. So, you know, nothing gross in it, nothing that gross in it. And it's from a kid's perspective, so you're kind of just like in awe and wonder, as Percy is as well. What I disliked the most about this book. Now, the thing that I really disliked was the pronoun game. They kept using, like, they never say exactly what they mean to say right away. They kind of like go around it every single time, especially when Percy comes to the camp. That part annoys me. He's like, oh, what's this? And they like kind of beat around the bush about it, and then eventually they answer the question. That part annoyed me a little bit. I was like, just tell him, like, there's nothing wrong, just tell him, it's not that big of a deal. I know there's certain things that they didn't tell him right away because it made sense, like it makes sense why Annabeth didn't want to tell him about her past or how she got there, and it made sense why Grover didn't want to tell him the same thing, how much he failed. So those make sense, but other little things, they didn't make sense to me, and I feel like that could have just been left out completely. Now, comparing the story, I thought it compares pretty well to the Harry Potter series, because they have pretty much the same characters. I mean, they have the heroic hero, protagonist, you have the smart friend, smart girl, love interest, and you have the funny, what's the word, the comic relief sidekick, which is Grover. And then the in the Harry Potter, it was obviously Ron. So they kind of, I feel like, the same characters pretty much, but they do have their differences. Like Grover, I think he could be kind of I think he was a better character than Ron. Like, he was just like a better, I don't know, he had like more value, I think. I would have to like think a little bit more on Ron, but yeah, I think Grover was better. I think the worlds, like, okay, if you just think of the world in general of them two, they integrate really well into like regular society, so you're like, oh, this could actually be happening. So I thought that worked out very well in both of the worlds. I like their level of awesomeness was great. And the main character, Percy Jackson and Harry, for some reason I like Percy more. Not sure why, maybe it's his, like, who he is, like personality, or I had to figure that one out. I'm not completely sure, but I definitely like Percy more just because, I don't know, maybe he has more quirks, because Harry can be, he could be forgotten, and a lot of things for Harry came rather easily, except, you know, his homework, which apparently didn't matter that much in the Harry Potter world. But yeah, okay, that's my thoughts. So those are my thoughts on the Percy Jackson first book, and the next one will be in 2 weeks. So I hope you stay tuned for that one, and let me know down below what you think of this book, how you think it compares, and all that fun stuff. I want to do like a ranking system of how I think how good the books are compared. I have to think about that a little more. I'll do it in the next one. But thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.